The absolute morning tranquility, so profound, is shattered by Zuko's playful audacity, a prank on the meditating king. Kong, the sovereign, offers only a gentle, dismissive warning to the impetuous youngster. Undeterred, the small ape puffs out his chest in defiance. A tiny threat the king simply ignores, choosing instead to bask in the serene quiet of his domain. Below this throne, a new world order has been forged, a hard-won peace where Kong's kingdom thrives in absolute, structured harmony, and even the land's most fearsome predators, the Allosaurus, now abide by the new law, serving not as hunters, but as vigilant guardians. But this profound peace is instantly shattered. A tremor, almost imperceptible, vibrates through the stone, and the king is the first to know, his eyes snapping open. His guardians freeze, instinct forcing the Allosaurus patrol low, sniffing the vibrating earth. By the oasis, the water's surface ripples violently without wind, triggering the first eruption of chaos as the Parasaurolophus herd panics. And then, the ultimate warning. At the coast, the ocean itself retreats, pulling back with terrifying speed, exposing the seabed. An unmistakable, horrifying sign of the doom now racing toward them. Seeing this, Kong roars a thunderous alarm, snatching Zuko and tossing him into the cave's safety. The king stands tall. He does not flee, he braces. He hammers his chest in a rapid, booming cadence, sounding the highest alarm, a command that echoes across the entire kingdom. The subjects respond. The old Triceratops herd immediately evacuates, thundering toward the high ground of the Red Rock Canyon, while the newer herd, already safe in the canyon, senses the primal fear and scrambles even higher. But the Allosaurus, his army, they do not flee. They gather, converging beneath the throne, looking up, awaiting the commands of their king. From the horizon, a colossal wall of water rises, a churning white line that swells into an abomination of nature, blotting out the sky, carrying absolute, unstoppable destruction. The peace in Kong's eyes vanishes, replaced by pure shock and untamed fury, his fists clenching as he braces for the inevitable impact. The cataclysm begins. The wall shatters the coastal cliffs, a horrific explosion of steam and pulverized rock, and the white water obliterates the forest, snapping giant ancient trees like twigs. The Parasaurolophus herd stands no chance, their desperate cries lost as they are swept away. Even the colossal Brachiosaurs stumble, one juvenile toppling, crushing a small forest beneath it, while the Triceratops herd swims desperately, young being dragged away by the current. The floodwaters slam the base of the throne, but Kong stands firm, a mountain of fury, roaring against the storm as his kingdom is submerged. His loyal Allosaurus pack fights the current, clinging to the rock face, while in the cave, Zuko scrambles to the highest ledge, trembling. In moments, the oasis and grassland are gone, transformed into a raging inland sea. As the water stops rising, a dead silence falls, broken only as the water begins to boil. A sickening, sickly yellow light pulses from the abyss. The water explodes. A nightmare surfaces, a grotesque titan from the deep, Leviathan. It is a grotesque fusion of crustacean armor and abyssal eel, its bioluminescent markings glowing with malice, its countless tentacles writhing. The king realizes instantly, this was no natural disaster, this was an invasion. He roars back, a clear declaration of war. But the invader ignores the king, its multifaceted eyes landing on the panicked Brachiosaurus. It lunges, its sharp tentacles piercing the giant's thick hide, dragging the colossal prey underwater, its jaw of needle-like teeth sinking into the victim's throat. Witnessing his subject slaughtered, Kong's rage ignites, his eyes burning with a new, focused killing intent. Without hesitation, he launches himself from the throne, a death-defying leap across the flooded expanse, aimed straight at the enemy. The Leviathan looks up, spraying a thick stream of acid, but Kong, ever the strategist, twists, using his gauntlet as a shield against the corrosive stream. He lands on the monster's back with an earth-shaking impact, driving it deep. And immediately, the king unleashes a flurry of thunderous punches, cracking the hard shell, drawing blue energy. The Leviathan thrashes, its tentacles whipping like steel cables, before it dives, dragging Kong down into the dark water. From the cave, Zuko screeches in fear, desperately searching the calm water. Below, the Allosaurus pack clings to the cliff, growling, ready to dive to their deaths if their king commands it. Underwater, Kong is constricted, but he pushes off a rock, headbutting the enemy's eye. The Leviathan shrieks, loosening its grip, and both breach the surface in a massive explosion. Kong knows he cannot win here. He immediately swims for the Red Rock Canyon, for solid ground. The Leviathan roars, angered, chasing with a speed that creates a massive wake. Kong climbs onto the shore, grabbing a sharp boulder, ready to make his stand. But the beast is not just an aquatic threat. It hauls its massive body ashore with terrifying speed, using its tentacles to climb the cliffs. From above, the safe Triceratops herd roars in concern as the monster invades the canyon. Kong hurls the boulder, stalling the charge for just 1 second. It's all he needs. He dashes in, closing the distance, and lands a devastating right hook that snaps the monster's head aside. He gives it no time to recover, following with a flurry to the chest, shattering its armor. But the Leviathan is brutal, using its entire body to ram Kong, slamming him into the canyon wall. It gives Kong no time to breathe, spitting concentrated acid that melts the rock where he just stood. Seeing their king in danger, the Allosaurus army charges, attacking the flanks, biting and tearing. The Leviathan, annoyed, unleashes a sweeping blow, knocking 2 of the Allosaurs aside. Their sacrifice buys their king the time he needs. Kong rises, seeing his fallen allies, and he sees the narrow ravine. A plan forms. He signals his remaining soldiers, luring the enemy into the tactical trap. Overconfident, the Leviathan charges and becomes hopelessly wedged, its massive body now an immobile target. Kong turns, baring his fangs. This is the moment. Now, Kong and the Allosaurs attack in unison, unleashing their fury on the helpless invader, Kong grabbing the monster's jaws, attempting to rip them apart as the sound of cracking armor fills the air. In a desperate, final move, the monster unleashes a massive shockwave of energy, blasting everyone away. The blast also breaks the canyon wall, and the Leviathan, badly wounded, breaks free. Kong struggles up, his chest seared, seeing his loyal soldiers also trying to stand. The Leviathan, battered, finally realizes it cannot win against this king and his army. It begins to retreat. Kong roars and charges, but the pain from the shockwave stops him cold. The monster moves quickly, turning for one last look of pure, yellow-eyed hatred, a silent threat. Before it escapes into the deep water, Kong runs to the ledge, seeing only a fading blue trail. The enemy has escaped. He roars in frustration, not in victory, but pure anger at the threat that got away. Hearing the roar, Zuko knows his king is safe and squeals in relief. Kong turns, walking to his wounded soldiers, giving a soft grunt, a rare sign of respect for their bravery. The three allosaurs bow, moving to their unconscious comrades. One stirs, the other is gravely injured. Kong's army has taken casualties. He looks down at his kingdom, now a swamp littered with death. He looks at the acid burns on his gauntlet, the seared fur on his chest. Even the king is wounded. From high above, the Triceratops herd roars their thanks. Kong gives a short roar in response. He had protected them, but the cost was devastating. The battle is over, but the consequences are just beginning as Kong walks back to his throne. On his way, he passes the body of a young Triceratops, the sight carving deeper into his fury. He sees the corpse of the Brachiosaurus, the perfect order he built, destroyed in minutes. Zuko runs out, hugging his leg. Kong, though still consumed by anger, gently reassures him, brushing aside the young one's concern for his wounds. This is no time for weakness. He sits on his throne, but there is no peace. The thoughtful silence is gone, replaced by a cold, vigilant stare. In the canyon, his allosaurs stand guard, their eyes still on the sea. He knows this was not the end. He stands, staring at the ocean, knowing it will return. And in the dark abyss, the wounded monster retreats to its lair, where dozens of other yellow eyes snap open in the dark. It was only a scout. The king clenches his fist and roars. He doesn't know the scale of the danger, but he is ready. The war has just begun.